Chapter 5. The Habits of People Who Become Millionaires. Orson Swett Marden wrote, "The beginning of a habit is like an invisible thread, but every time we repeat the act, we strengthen the strand, add to it another filament, until it becomes a great cable and binds us irrevocably in thought and act." Your goal should be to earn as much money as you possibly can over the course of your career, achieve financial independence, and eventually become a millionaire. This is the most common financial ambition of most people, and it is eminently achievable if you develop the right habits. Fortunately, becoming a millionaire has never been more possible in all of human history than it is right now. We have the largest economy in world history, and it's growing faster than ever before. In 2017, there are almost 15 million millionaires and almost 536 billionaires, according to Market Insights reports. Almost all these millionaires and billionaires, 87% by some estimates, are first-generation wealth. That is, they accumulated their fortunes over a single working lifetime. Millionaires come from every conceivable background. Some are well-educated and some are not. Some graduated from the finest universities, others dropped out of high school. Some came from families that have lived in America for many generations. Others came to the country as immigrants with no friends or contacts, no skills, and not even the ability to speak English when they arrived. But they all had one thing in common. They passed the magic $1 million mark as a result of doing certain things in a certain way again and again. They learned and practiced the $1 million habits that we are explaining throughout this book. Self-made millionaires have been interviewed and studied exhaustively, hundreds and even thousands of times, both individually and in groups. Some of the very best research on millionaires was conducted by Thomas J. Stanley and William D. Danko and summarized in their book, The Millionaire Next Door, which has gone on to sell almost 3 million copies. Every newspaper and magazine today seems to have a story about one or more men or women who have become wealthy by doing certain things in a certain way. And what others have accomplished, you can accomplish as well if you just learn how. Think like a millionaire. I wrote earlier, you become what you think about most of the time. If you sincerely want to be rich, achieve all your financial goals, and retire as a self-made millionaire or multimillionaire, one of the smartest things you can do is to develop the habits of thinking and acting that have enabled hundreds of thousands and even millions of other people to become millionaires. These habits of financial success are learnable, as all habits are, by practice and repetition. The first discovery about the thinking patterns of self-made millionaires is that they have the habit of thinking in terms of financial independence most of the time. From an early age or at a certain point in life, they became focused on achieving specific financial goals. They then disciplined themselves to make whatever sacrifices were necessary to achieve those goals. They organized and coordinated their entire financial lives, their earning, investing, insuring, and spending activities to help them move toward hitting those specific financial targets. Accumulate or spend. Most people have the opposite habits about money. Instead of thinking in terms of accumulation, saving, and financial independence, most people think of spending and enjoying every penny they get their hands on, plus whatever else they can borrow from friends or put on credit cards. Every year, between 600,000 and 800,000 Americans declare personal bankruptcy as a result of borrowing and spending far more than they could ever repay. At a certain point in life, each person comes to a crossroads. One road leads in the direction of earning, saving, and accumulating, while the other road leads in the direction of earning, spending, and getting into debt. As a fully responsible adult, you must decide which road you are going to take. And no matter what road you have taken up until now, you are free to choose the road you're going to follow from this day forward. Take charge of your financial life. The starting point of achieving financial independence and becoming a self-made millionaire is for you to accept complete responsibility for your financial life. Many people never do this. They instead go through their days and their money, trusting to luck with the idea that somehow, sometime, someone else will come to the rescue. They buy lottery tickets, gamble, and think about making a killing in the stock market. And they worry about money all the time. The fact is that serious money is long-term money. Most wealthy people organize their financial lives in such a way that their net worth increases about 8 to 10% per year on the amount of money they have working. They do not look for get-rich schemes or easy money. They are patient, persistent, and far-sighted. They discipline themselves to save and accumulate money over many years. They do not speculate, take risks, or look for fast ways to make money quickly and easily. Because of these habitual ways of thinking about their money, each year their wealth grows. Eventually they pass the $1 million mark and usually keep on going. Develop a millionaire mindset. Business philosopher Jim Rohn once wrote, "Becoming a millionaire is not that difficult, but it is not the most important thing. The most important part of becoming a millionaire is the person that you have to become to accumulate $1 million in the first place." This is a wonderful insight. To become wealthy, you must develop a completely different mindset from the average person who worries about money most of his life. You must develop a completely different character, personality, and set of habits if you're going to achieve your financial goals and then hold on to the money. My financial advisor once told me, "The first million is extremely difficult to acquire, but the second million is almost inevitable." When you become the kind of person who can accumulate $1 million or more, you will also be the kind of person who can earn the second and third million as well. Even if something unfortunate happens and you lose all your money, you could make it back again fairly quickly because you would have become the kind of person who can become a millionaire. And once you become that kind of person, you never lose the ability. The first habit of millionaires. Perhaps the most easily identifiable habit of self-made millionaires is the habit of frugality. Wealthy people are careful with their money. They allocate their funds carefully and with great deliberation. They never buy new when they can buy used. They never buy if they can lease, and they never lease if they can rent. They never rent or lease if they can borrow. They know that, as the English saying goes, if you take care of the pennies, the pounds will take care of themselves. According to Stanley and Danko, most self-made millionaires do not buy new cars. They wait until a good quality car is about 2 years old before they buy it. Even then, they have the car thoroughly checked out by a reputable mechanic. Once they feel confident that it is an excellent buy, in good condition, they buy the car and have it recertified with a 5-year warranty. They then drive the car for 5 or 10 years before replacing it. Most new cars drop 20% in value as soon as you drive them off the lot. After 2 years, many cars have lost 30 to 50% of their value, but are still in excellent condition and are often still covered by factory warranties. When you buy a good quality used car, you can save many thousands of dollars, all of which can be invested and allowed to grow at compound interest towards your ultimate goal of financial independence. Save your money. Self-made millionaires develop the habit of regular saving and investment from an early age. As multimillionaire W. Clement Stone once wrote, "If you cannot save money, the seeds of greatness are not in you." George Clason, in his bestseller, The Richest Man in Babylon, wrote that the key to financial success is to pay yourself first. He recommends that you save at least 10% of your income off the top before any other expenditure for the entirety of your working life. Human beings are creatures of habit. We very quickly adapt to almost any external condition or circumstance. If you save 10% off the top of your paycheck and discipline yourself to live on the other 90%, you will soon adjust your lifestyle downwards slightly so that you are quite comfortable on the lesser amount. In no time at all, living at this level becomes a habit, and you stop thinking about it. Many people are deeply in debt, and the idea of saving 10% of their income is too difficult for them even to consider. In this case, I recommend a gradual process where you begin by saving 1% of your income per month and living on the other 99%. For example, if you're earning $2,000 per month, decide today to save $20 per month or 67 cents per day. You can then live on the other $1,980. Go down to the bank and open a separate account, your financial independence account. Money that goes into this account flows only one way, inward. Once you put money into this savings investment account, you never, ever take it out or spend it for any reason. It has only one purpose, to enable you to achieve financial independence as soon as possible. Once you become comfortable living on 99% of your income, increase your monthly savings rate to 2%. Within a year, you'll find yourself living quite comfortably on 90% of your current income or less. Continue this process until you are saving 15% and then 20% of your income off the top. You will not even notice the difference in your standard of living because it will be so gradual. But the difference in your financial life will be absolutely extraordinary. Take complete control of your financial life. When you develop the habit of thinking more carefully about your income and savings, you will soon find yourself spending less and less on your day-to-day expenses. You will begin paying down your debts and not incurring new ones. You will start delaying or deferring expenditures and finally stop buying those items entirely. Meanwhile, the habit of saving money out of every paycheck will cause your financial fortress account to grow. In a year, you'll have a few $100s. In a couple of years, you'll have a few thousand. In 10 to 20 years, you'll have several 100,000 or even 1,000,000. As your financial accumulation account grows, develop the habit of adding every unexpected sum of money that comes to you to this account to make it grow faster. If you sell something from around the house or get a bonus at work or receive an income tax refund, instead of spending it immediately as unsuccessful people do, instead put it into your financial fortress account. Activate the law of attraction. Here's an extraordinary discovery. When you begin to save money and you feel positive and happy about your growing account, these positive emotions imbue that money with a form of energy that begins to attract more money into your life and into that account. Old friends will pay back debts you had forgotten a long time ago. You will have opportunities to earn additional money that had not occurred to you. You will sell things that you had kept for a long time and thought had no value. And as you add these amounts to your account, it will develop even more positive energy and attract even larger sums of money. I had heard about this concept for many years, but I was always broke and there never seemed to be anything I could do about it. Then, about 2 years after I got married and started my own business, I ran out of money. I had been able to buy a house with my life savings, but now I had to sell the house to get cash. We moved to a rented house, and at that point my wife Barbara demanded that I turn over to her $10,000 from the sale of the house. After some arguing, I gave in. She took the money and deposited it in another bank account to which I did not have access. No matter how many financial problems we had in the months ahead, she refused to even consider the possibility of spending that money. This was her security blanket. The most remarkable thing happened. From that day forward, we were never broke again. Even though it was the midst of a recession and businesses were going bankrupt all around us, we never ran out of money. Every week, every month, business came in, the bills were paid, opportunities opened up, and exciting possibilities came into our lives. Within a couple of years, we were able to move out of the rented house and buy a beautiful new home in a lovely neighborhood. 2 years later, we bought a home that cost 5 times as much on a golf course, overlooking 2 lakes with the ocean in the distance. Learn to love saving your money. In Chapter 3, we described habits as conditioned responses to stimuli. Regarding this definition, there is a special habit that financially successful people develop over time. It's the habit of responding to incoming money in a particular way. When we're growing up, we're encouraged to save money from our allowances. However, as children, we look upon money as a tool with which to buy candy, toys, and other things that make us happy. As a result, we naturally begin to look upon saving as a punishment, something that hurts us and deprives us of candy, toys, and other things we desire. We associate saving with pain, with sacrifice, with loss of pleasure, satisfaction, and happiness. Since the basic human motivation is to move away from pain toward pleasure, from discomfort toward comfort, and from dissatisfaction toward satisfaction, most people develop the habit of associating spending with enjoyment and saving with unhappiness or pain. As adults, this habit manifests in our desire to spend money as soon as we earn it. Many people in their late teens and 20s look upon every paycheck as an opportunity to go out and spend as much money as they can. This is why it is generally known in the restaurant business that the dining rooms will be the fullest at the middle and the end of each month on paydays. Rewire your thinking. Your job is to reverse the wiring on this habit. It is to detach the wires from one set of attitudes and reattach them to a different set. You need to begin thinking in terms of pleasure when you think of saving and accumulation, and pain whenever you think of spending and getting rid of your money. The law of emotion says whichever emotion you dwell upon will grow, just as a fire would if you put more fuel on it. The more you think about the pleasure and enjoyment you get from seeing your savings and investment account growing, the more motivated you will be to spend less, save more, and grow that account. In no time at all, at the end of each month, instead of worrying about the amount of money you have available for your bills, you will instead be reviewing the money that is accumulating in your bank account. Most people who become financially successful develop the habit of thinking in terms of the pleasure and satisfaction they get from saving, investing, and growing their money. Most financial failures, on the other hand, get most of their pleasure out of thinking of ways they can spend their money as quickly as they acquire it. Look rich or be rich. Stanley and Danko in The Millionaire Next Door explain that most self-made millionaires drive used cars, live in average neighborhoods, wear average price clothes and watches, and are very careful with their money. In addition, very few of them spend money on boats, recreational vehicles, second homes, personal airplanes, or expensive vacations. Stanley and Danko point out that there are those who look rich and those who are rich. Your job is to be one of those people who genuinely are rich, rather than a person who spends a lot of money but has very little in the bank. Truly wealthy people develop the habit of getting rich slow, rather than getting rich quick. To ensure this, they have two rules about money. Rule number 1, don't lose money. Rule number 2, if you ever feel tempted, refer back to rule number 1. People who become wealthy spend much more time thinking about their finances than people who remain poor. The average adult spends 2 to 3 hours each month thinking about their money, usually at bill-paying time. The average self-made millionaire, by contrast, spends 20 to 30 hours per month thinking, studying, and planning their finances. Since the very act of focusing on your money will dramatically improve the decisions you make about it, people who invest more time planning their finances invariably make better decisions and get better results. Practice wedge theory to become rich. Here is an excellent technique that I teach in my financial success seminars. It's what I call the wedge theory. It is guaranteed to make you financially independent faster than you can even imagine. Parkinson's law, developed by author C. Northcote Parkinson, says, expenses rise to meet income. This means that because your income increases gradually, your expenditures increase gradually as well to match your income. No matter how much money you make, your expenses eventually rise to consume it all, and a little bit more besides. Over time, you develop the habit of always spending whatever you earn or receive. Sometimes I ask my audiences this question. If I could wave a magic wand and double or triple your income, would that solve your financial problems? Then I wait and watch their faces. Almost immediately, people raise their hands, smile, and nod. They all agree that if they could double or triple their current incomes, that would solve all their financial problems. Then I ask a follow-up question. Going back to what you earned in your first job, is there anyone here who has already doubled or tripled their income? After a short pause, virtually everyone in the audience raises their hands. Everyone has already doubled and tripled their incomes from their first jobs. Many have increased their incomes 5 and 10 times from the first job they took when they left school. And it hasn't done a bit of good. They still have financial problems and are in debt because they have become subject to Parkinson's law. Expenditures rise to meet income. Save half of your future increases. Here's how the wedge theory works. When you ask a person to save a certain percentage of their current income, they will almost always agree that it is a good idea, but they will also claim it's not possible. To save out of your current income would mean reducing your standard of living. It may mean moving to a smaller place, driving a smaller car, eating cheaper foods, or not going out as often. Because human beings are creatures of habit, even if they can rationally agree that saving is a good idea, the actual reduction in living standards it requires is so unacceptable that they cannot discipline themselves to take the first step. Wedge theory is different. Instead of cutting back on your current lifestyle, you resolve to save 50% of every increase you receive from your work from this day forward. This is something you can do because you don't yet have this money built into your daily expenditures. It's much easier for people to commit to saving money they have not yet received than it is to get people to agree to save money by cutting back on their current standard of living. By practicing some of the other techniques and methods taught later in this book, you will be able to increase your income by 5%, 10%, and even 25% per year. To become wealthy, you must develop the habit, starting today, of saving fully 50% of these future increases. You can still spend the other 50% on whatever you like, but you must agree to save half of the money that you don't even have yet. This should not be hard for you or for anyone. Depending upon your age and the rate at which your income grows, saving 50% of your increases in the years ahead will soon allow you to acquire an enormous amount of money. And the more money you save, the more money you will attract to yourself. By disciplining yourself, developing the habit of saving half of your increases for the rest of your career, you will pay off all your debts, build an enormous financial fortress, and eventually become financially independent. Develop the habits of wealthy people. Regarding your growing bank account, millionaires develop a series of other habits to ensure that they don't lose money and that their money grows steadily over time. One of the best habits you can develop is the habit of getting good financial advice before you do anything with your growing account. Ask around and find a financial advisor who has already become financially successful by investing his or her personal money in the areas that she recommends to you. Your ability to choose excellent financial advisors can be the critical factor in making good investment decisions. Develop the habit of investigating before you invest in anything. The rule is, spend as much time investigating the investment as you spent earning the money that you are thinking of investing. Fast financial decisions are usually poor financial decisions. Take your time. Move slowly. Find out every detail of the business or investment before you ever think of writing a check. Never allow anyone to pressure you into an investment decision. Never allow yourself to feel that an investment decision is urgent and must be made immediately. A wealthy man I worked for once told me, "Investments are like buses. There will always be another one coming along." Sometimes the best investments are the ones you never make at all. Make a habit of thoroughly understanding the investment before you ever think of parting with your hard-earned money. If there is anything you do not understand or that seems too complicated for you, do not invest in that area. Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world thanks to his investing acumen, refused to invest in any of the high-tech or dot-com companies during the boom of the 1990s. Everyone accused him of being out of step and old-fashioned. He simply replied, "I don't understand these businesses, and therefore I will not put any of my money into them." He turned out to be right when the tech bubble burst, and all the others turned out to be wrong. Never trust luck. An important habit for financial success is the habit of insuring properly against any risk that you cannot write a check to cover. It's amazing how many people have spent years accumulating money and then lost it all because they did not have proper insurance protection in place. Develop the habit of using what I call worst possible option, WPO, thinking. Always ask yourself, what is the worst possible thing that could happen in this situation? Whatever it is, make provisions to guard against it. Never trust to luck. Hope is not a strategy. Neither is wishing. Only careful planning, organizing, and ensuring constitute a strategy for your financial life. Be sure you have sufficient life insurance to cover your family and all their financial needs if something should happen to you. Be sure you have adequate fire and damage insurance for your home. Check and upgrade your policies on a regular basis to make sure they cover replacement value. Insure your automobiles for damage and liability. Be sure to have adequate health insurance that covers you for any emergency and for long-term care. No one likes to spend money on insurance, but it's one of the smartest things you can possibly do on your road to financial independence. By insuring properly, you'll never be caught off guard by an unexpected accident or emergency. An additional benefit of being fully insured is it gives you a feeling of calm confidence that allows you to think more clearly and be much more effective in everything else you do. Cover your assets. As you begin to accumulate money, develop the habit of protecting your estate from unnecessary taxes and frivolous lawsuits. Invest in the services of a lawyer who specializes in wills and estate planning. Set up a family limited partnership under the direction of a good lawyer and transfer your assets into the partnership so that they cannot be seized in a lawsuit or taxed away if something were to happen to you. As the old saying goes, a stitch in time saves 9. Small actions that you take in planning, investigating, and insuring your assets can save you an enormous amount of money on your road to financial independence. Do your homework. In addition to the habits discussed above, another important habit wealthy people develop is the habit of carefully considering every expenditure before they make it. This involves getting as much information as possible on the various costs involved in any financial decision. The power is always on the side of the person with the best information. Develop the habit of negotiating more effectively to get higher prices when you sell and lower prices when you buy. A good negotiator can save or gain 10%, 20%, or more on every financial transaction. Each dollar saved or gained is additional money that you can put away to accumulate in your financial fortress account. Get in the habit of negotiating. Ask for lower interest rates. Ask for better terms and conditions. Ask for immediate payment when you sell and deferred payment when you buy. Ask repeatedly, pleasantly, courteously, expectantly, and confidentially. But don't be afraid to ask for what you want, and if you don't get it, ask again or ask for something else. Get rich slowly. When people make a lot of money quickly as a result of success in the stock market, a business breakthrough, a show business success, or an invention, the story gets into the newspapers and magazines. But this is precisely because great financial success in a short time is so unusual. Most great fortunes are built slowly. They're based on the principle of compound interest, which has been called the greatest power in the universe. In fully 99% of cases where people become wealthy, it is over a long period of time, and it's based on slow, incremental growth as the result of compound interest. Every dollar you save, properly invested and protected, can grow 5 to 10% each year. As your money grows, it compounds on itself and grows even more. According to Stanley and Danko, it takes the average millionaire 22 years to accumulate $1 million from the time he gets serious about his financial life. They get rich slowly by gradually increasing their earning ability, saving more and more from their income, and investing it carefully and intelligently so that it grows and compounds over the years. You must do the same. The pursuit of happiness. The philosopher Aristotle concluded in his Nicomachean Ethics, the ultimate end or purpose of all human life is the achievement of personal happiness. Becoming financially independent as the result of developing million-dollar habits is a great goal, but it's not the most important thing. It's the person you must become in terms of courage, character, thoughtfulness, and persistence that is more important. As a result of becoming financially successful over a long period of time, you will feel truly happy and satisfied with yourself and with every other part of your life. This is the most worthwhile goal of all. Now here are some action exercises for you. Decide today that you're going to accumulate more than $1 million in the next 5 to 7 years. Write it down as a goal, make a plan, and then do something toward achieving it every single day. Conduct a complete financial analysis on your life. Determine your net worth, your income and expenses, and your current debts. Open a special financial fortress savings account and begin putting money into it at every opportunity. Never spend this money on anything except investing and growth. Begin saving a fixed percentage of your income each month. Practice the wedge theory and save 50% of every increase from this day forward. Investigate before you invest. Learn every detail of the business and be sure you thoroughly understand how your money is to be used and how it will be returned. Get your financial life organized with proper estate planning and insurance with a family limited partnership to protect your assets. And finally, practice frugality. Never buy new if you can buy used. Never pay full price if you can negotiate something cheaper. Delay all major expenditures until you have had ample time to think about them. Bob Grind once wrote, "Go out and buy yourself a 5-cent pencil and a 10-cent notebook and begin to write down some $1 million ideas for yourself."